Hello and welcome to this edition of The Store. Thank you for joining us. We begin today's show with our pick of some key retail headlines over the past week. Here's top lines.
E-commerce in India grew by 25% to $38 billion in the previous financial year, despite two near-zero sales months during the first wave of pandemic, according to a report prepared by consultancy firm Bain & Company in association with commerce major Flipkart. While the second COVID-19 wave hit online sales harder, the industry is expected to clock between 25% and 30% growth this year as well, translating to $47.5 billion in sales by the end of the fiscal. Since the start of the pandemic, 30 to 35 million new customers have joined the online shoppers database. Before the pandemic, there were 100 to 110 million e-commerce buyers in India. This user base jumped to 140 million and is on track to surpass the 150 million mark during FY22. The report pegs India's e-tail sectors at $120 to 140 billion by FY26. Walmart is prioritizing the holiday season across major markets, including in India, the company's president and CEO, Judith McKenna, said during the quarterly earnings call with analysts. Walmart saw strong sales growth in Flipkart India as well as Mexico and China in its international markets, the company added. In India, we are prioritizing Big Billion Days, which is the Diwali festival coming up in early November, McKenna said. Walmart Inc. president and CEO Doug McMillon added that Flipkart had seen another good quarter. Sales growth was strong and we continue to see improving trends in monthly active users and customers, he said. Flipkart raised $3.6 billion from GIC, the Canada Pension Plan Investment Board, Japan's SoftBank and Walmart recently. The platform has been valued at $37.6 billion post-funding, up from $24.9 billion a year ago. The new valuation is more than double the amount Walmart paid for a majority stake in the platform 3 years ago. India's GDP growth is estimated to come at what rating agency ICRA called the deceptively high level of 20% for the April-June 2021 quarter, but is far below the same in pre-COVID times. The low base of last year, when GDP had contracted by close to 24%, conceals the impact of the second wave of COVID-19 infections, ICRA says, indicating that GDP appeared to have shrunk by around 9% in Q1 FY22 relative to the pre-COVID levels of Q1 FY20. ICRA highlighted the tangible distress being experienced by economic agents in the less formal and contract-intensive sectors. ICRA highlighted the tangible distress being experienced by the economic agent in the less formal and contact-intensive sectors. The Reserve Bank of India, on the other hand, expects GDP to expand by 21.4% in the quarter as per its revised estimates released earlier in August. Year 2021 could turn out to be India's year of IPO, with domestic unicorns setting global investors in a frenzy, says an RBI analysis led by the Apex Bank Deputy Governor Michael Debabrata Patra. The successful initial public offerings by new age companies in recent months are a reflection of bullishness about Indian technology, the analysis said. Referring to Zomato's IPO, which has oversubscribed by 38 times, it said debut offerings by Indian unicorns have set domestic stock markets on fire and global investors in a frenzy. Pointing to excitement surrounding Indians' digitalization, digital payment solution, e-commerce and logistics, it said these IPOs of new age companies arrive as bullishness about Indian mounts, especially around Indian tech. Malls in India have been recovering faster after the second wave compared with the first wave, supported by a rapid easing of restrictions and pent-up demand, according to CRISIL ratings. Pressure on rentals for mall owners is likely to be lower this fiscal, necessitating lower waivers compared with last fiscal, it added. Rental revenue for mall owners is seen clawing back to 80 to 85% of pre-pandemic levels, while strong sponsor support and fundraising initiatives will support credit profiles. The median closure period for the top 8 cities was 7 to 8 weeks compared to 13 to 14 weeks during the first wave. Retail sales in malls have already reached 50 to 60% of pre-pandemic run rate in the first month after reopening, CRISIL said. Improving consumer sentiments driven by fast vaccination, pent-up demand and discount sales by major retailers have contributed to the recovery, the report said.
Our guest on the C-Suite today heads India's fastest growing omni-channel lingerie brand, Zivame. CEO Amisha Jain tells us how tech is enabling the brand to run a tight ship on inventory and also what the future of brand marketing looks like, among many other insights. Here are some excerpts from the discussion. Zivame has a business model very like a fast fashion brands with relatively high inventory turnovers, which is very important because inventory holding costs are a major challenge for fashion retailers and also limits scalability. How do you run a tight ship on inventory?
Yeah, I think that has been one big win from our perspective. I would say, for us, that is one area that all of us, every leader is effectively responsible for. It serves two purposes. The idea of making sure inventory is right not is just not from your own balance sheet perspective, or it's not important just from a perspective that how much cash are we sort of putting out there, right, from a working capital perspective. What is more important is that am I going to be able to give her and react to her changes on time? And hence that is where this whole faster turnaround, right, and in terms of cycles that are shorter works, because we can then react to the environment faster, right? And as the consumer needs are evolving, we've been able to do that as well. Now what all of it for us has been driven, and we've been doing this for years now, is we have an extremely technology driven approach to inventory. So, we don't go at it like a traditional, merchandising strategy would be, which is let me buy X number of options and here's the size curve, right? Which is like, typically in apparel, let's say, I'm going to get, I don't know if you're aware of this, but they'll go through a size curve, which is 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. For example, small, medium, large, and how many units in each size one is supposed to buy and how many sets of that. We don't do it like that.
Right. You spoke about technology making such a difference to markets and how brands operate. And of course, the digital evolution has opened up opportunities, opened up markets, opened up understanding of customers to an extent we hadn't seen earlier. But also, on the other side, is it making retail a very complex, much more complex business to operate in? There's multiple channels, thousands of data points, integrating all of that into a single view. Is it going to be a much more difficult process altogether? And how would you define the new thumb rules of profitability in a category such as yours?
I said made it more exciting, I would say, than complex. Actually, I feel it's gotten simpler. The data part of the benefit that we have, right? We have an advantage. We understand a consumer a lot better. The feedback loop that used to come to us earlier in the pre-digital world, it used to take us easily 6 to 9 months to really even understand that the product that I put into the market, has it worked or not, right? And see, at the end of the day, the consumer is smart, right? I mean, they know what they want. They will not buy a product that doesn't work for them. So I think the faster we learn, the faster we understand the consumer and whether a product works for them or not, the better it is for us, right? So I feel what has happened is, because of having this fast feedback loop, we're able to kind of assess whether certain things are going to do well or not, certain initiatives are going to do well or not, right? So that fast feedback loop, which I think is a JIT for everything, whether you talk about a just-in-time content, just-in-time inventory, and it's basically a fast feedback loop, right? So I think life has gotten a lot better, and the important part of it is how are you adapting to it, right? How are you changing your organization for it? Are you ready for it? And so it has pushed all of us out of our comfort zone to say that, okay, go, we need to build data sciences, or you need to build more machine learning based, sort of org units, right? In terms of when I say, it's no longer that I have a data scientist. It's you have to have teams. And again, this is true for both online and offline retailers, right?
And that's what we have on this episode of The Store. Don't forget to watch Amisha Jain's full interview on August 22nd on our YouTube channel, Indiaretailing.com. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back soon with the next edition of The Store. Until then, have a great week and goodbye.